All right, Matt. I think this is Wealth Wednesday. What? Number 7? Number
I
8?
believe number 7. Good morning. Three of us were just talking about helium. For the record, I just received shipment of a helium miner. It's a Bobcat 300. So I bought it back in December. Took 6 months to ship. Came from Hong Kong. Helium looked really profitable to mine in December. Everything in the cryptocurrency market has taken a huge dip. Sergio has some stuff to show us. So let's dive right in.
Yeah, yeah. So we can talk about helium, which is an altcoin, right? Like I think we can. Let's give people some context why this matters, right? So, cryptocurrency is super popular now, right? Kind of, it was like the thing in 2020 and 2021, and since the market topped out late last year, 2021, it's kind of been not so hyped up, right? And if we'll look at some charts, but we'll pull up Bitcoin first, right? You can see here. I already have drawings on this thing, right? But you see, remember in 2021, 2020. So this period of time here, I'm gonna get rid of all this shit, right? So pretty much this period of time. Okay, this is when crypto and Bitcoin was like, heavily publicized, right? Online, and then big companies like Bloomberg and Reuters started, like reporting on this stuff. So lately, I'd say maybe all of 2022, or at least the past 3 months of 2022, I think things have been quiet on the crypto side. And it makes sense because we're trading at like 31,000 right now. And we used to trade at 69,000, 65,000, right? 50,000, 48,000, right? Here we're at 31,000. So the media gets quiet and they kind of stop reporting. They don't report on it as much. And you hear less people talking about crypto in general. Typically the times to start, probably the best times to start buying, right? I think buying when there's all that hype, it's a recipe for disaster. But the thing about Bitcoin is like what the whole cryptocurrency, call it asset class or sector, kind of rests on, right? It's like Bitcoin and then Ethereum. Those are the main two. And then what a lot of people do is they get that code and then they can modify that code, that source code. And then they start creating all these other cryptocurrencies that could have different use cases, right? So I guess, Matt, they call those like the alternative coins, the altcoins, right? So if Bitcoin goes down, I'm just measuring, goes down, let's say 60% from its highs, a lot of people would say, holy shit, that's very volatile. That's a big move down. I don't want to invest in Bitcoin. It's so volatile, correct? But if Bitcoin is going down 60%, you're going to have the altcoins. You're going to have an altcoin like XRP or Solana or Ethereum, maybe not Ethereum, Avalanche, I don't know, like Luna. Like you're going to see those cryptocurrencies go down even more. So if Bitcoin goes down 60%, those altcoins go down maybe 8 or 90%. So helium is one of those alternative coins that people were very, getting excited about. Okay. And it makes sense. Look what happened. This was May of 2021. Okay. May of 2021. From May of 2021 to November of 2021. So what is that, like 4 months? Right? 4 months. The price of this particular asset went up like 400%, give or take, in a 3-month period. Okay, that's in a 3-month period.
Wow.
In a 1 year period, so 12 months, we went up 4,300%. So it's like 40 times your money, right?
Yeah.
40 times your money. And ironically, it was around this time, November, December of 2021, that everyone was buying these miners. Okay. And this is when the price of miners and mining equipment was at its peak. Why? Because that's when the cryptocurrency market was at its peak, right? So I had warned some people in this chat group, right? And I'll pull it up. I was bearish, HNT, Mana, AVAX, Luna, all overbought crap. That's what I said. Okay. Where's the date on this stuff? Here's the date. December 13th, 2021. Okay. And I was even doing some analysis before that. Okay. Like I was paying attention to it, right? Like what's going on here? But either way, it was around December where I was like, nah, this is not good. So that was, we had already peaked here in November. It's like around here. Okay. And if you look at how much it's come down, that's an 88% drop from its peak.
Damn.
Right. So now, if this protocol is going to start up again, this has been the best time to buy in a long, long time. Right. Best time to buy in a long, long time. And there's no guarantee that we even bottom here and head higher. It could just bottom here before we head lower. Very possible, right? Like this looks like a boom and bust, right? Like it looks like, you get what I'm saying? It's like it gave everything away on this move down. Almost all of its gains. It just gave it away. Right. And that's with a lot of these altcoins, right? So we don't know which altcoins are going to stick around and which ones are going to prevail, right? The bets are that Bitcoin will prevail and stick around. And that's why Bitcoin's dominance, when the market's going down and people start feeling uncertain, they take that uncertainty by selling their altcoins and buying Bitcoin. And that's why Bitcoin's depreciation, it's one of the reasons why I think its depreciation isn't as much as some of the altcoins. Because a lot of people aren't looking to the altcoins as a safe haven in the crypto space.
And Serge, can you go to the website for Helium and just
sure.
kind of explain what it is?
Like what's Helium? Helium's trying to connect people.
Yeah, so they call it the network of things, the people's network. And seems different to me than a lot of other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
They're trying to provide a service to other companies. They have other companies signed on. Yeah, their coin was overhyped like crazy. But I do have some faith in it. And I don't know, maybe things have changed in the last few months, but I didn't know of any of their competitors at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But with this miner, instead of it being some source code like with Bitcoin, it actually is like a Wi-Fi router almost. So it's going to provide a signal, long fi, not Wi-Fi, it's a little bit different, to some of these, watches, dog collars, whatever is going to use this network, some of these products. And in exchange for that, you get rewarded with this cryptocurrency. And this is sort of an incentive to go ahead and buy a miner, set it up, use the electricity, do that sort of thing. And that kind of struck me as, okay, this is different. I haven't seen this in another cryptocurrency as of yet. And there is a map where you can see how much HNT is being rewarded to all the people mining around you. And of course, it looked very, very good. It looked very, very profitable in December of last year. Things have changed quite a bit since then. But yeah, I bought the miner. I took a chance on the company. And I think if and when the cryptocurrency market does have another bull run, this will benefit from that. And even without that, this could be a profitable company as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds cool, man. I think got to dive in and just really understand what they're doing. Right? Like I think the idea is cool. It's like, wait, you can kind of have like a decentralized cellular network pretty much, right? I think it's cool. I just
when you're looking at,
I haven't dove hard in that. Like for me, where my mind goes is like, okay, why won't Bell or Rogers or Telus just do something like, because they don't they have like a monopoly on the existing network?
I know
Wouldn't
Bell
like they're gonna
has,
squash? Yeah, they'll give this a hard time, I'm sure.
yeah, possibly. I don't think there's been a move to do that yet. There'll probably be some competition, but this is something that they're not doing. But it is piggybacking off of what they already provide. I know Bell has, I think it's phone lines. They own the phone lines. And then we have Rogers kind of use the phone lines the same way and try to market their service as well.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at buying a cryptocurrency, just like a stock, are you just looking at the chart, or are you looking at the future of the company and everything else as well? And do you find that the charts really just resemble the public, the public accepting and liking that idea? How do you
Sometimes charts can give you that information, but also charts can give you false information. Like you could have two stocks. One is super high quality. The company's going to be around for a long time. And then you could have another stock where it's like, maybe they're not going to be around for a long time. But whatever's happened in the macro, so like what we're talking about offline, like whatever the Fed is doing could cause those stocks to create similar patterns that would have you think they're going to do the same thing, until something different happens in the macro environment that may expose the one company and not the other. And then the other company fulfills on what you expect it to do based on that pattern, while the other companies just invalidate the pattern. Right? So I wouldn't say the chart is a reliable way to determine if one company is better than another necessarily.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I think, you know what they say? They say, hey, don't pick stocks, invest in funds, right? Like, why try to find, like, this is the S&P 500 here. They say, why try to find the individual stock or whatever inside of this group of 500? Just buy the index and be done with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, there's some truth there, right? Like when you go stock picking, the volatility of your portfolio, unless you're really good and you really know what you're doing, you're really good, it's going to be much higher than the volatility in a mutual fund or in an ETF.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, it's not just about, does the chart look good or the fundamental, it's a bunch of things. And that's why it's such a hard game. It's not just one variable. It's like a bunch of different variables and like in chaos, and like I can draw these orange lines and tell you what I think's most likely going to happen based on these lines and this moving average and momentum and whatever. But that's just it's like forecasting. That's just making a prediction, right? Mm-hmm. To complement that, in order for that to be, you guys see my screen, right?
Yep.
In order for that to be useful, you got to actually be able to like action that and execute that. So when financial advisors tell clients, oh, just invest in the funds because no point of doing it yourself, it's like they have a point. Like it's going to be very difficult for you to outperform the market. You know, if you're doing stock picking or currency trading or options trading, like it's not going to happen in the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year. And then by the time you get to the fifth year, sixth year, like, fuck, maybe I should have just done what that advisor said and just put the money away or invested in real estate or something, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think people got to be careful. Like we're talking about leveraging, we're talking about borrowing to invest in stocks, right? Borrowing to invest in mutual funds, right? And like I look at the chart of the S&P 500, it's not so bad now. Like we've actually had a decent correction, which is, let me pull this up. Sorry, let me. Right, like, you know, this is the moving average, right? Right, Matt? So it's like the average going
Mhm.
back 200 periods. So if you're talking about borrowing to invest, I think the most important thing for your clients, right, is A, can they comfortably make that monthly payment?
Mhm.
Okay. That's the first thing I would look at. Two is where is the market? Right? Like, does it look like, are we toppy? Does it look like a bottom could be in? Right? And then it's like time horizon. That's what, so that's what I would be focused on with my clients.
Gotcha. And
Right?
I'll just say, I know with B2B bank, and
Yeah.
that's where this loan will be coming from that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
If it is a callable loan, they can call it at any time. They don't have a history of doing that. But if the value of your portfolio that you're leveraging
Yeah.
goes down 25%, you have to add money in or else they will call it. And that doesn't happen too often, but if you look back, it could happen. Like there are points in time where that could be a possibility, at least for a
100%.
short period of time. Are you able to cover that? Are you
Yeah,
able to see
exactly.
that through as another thing, right?
I think that's very important. Anytime you're borrowing to invest, it's like, okay, if the value of this asset that I invested in went down, 25%, 50%, 60%, will I have funds you know, to provide that account so that they have the collateral to keep that loan open for me?
Mhm.
Right. So I think when you borrowing to invest adds some challenges, especially if it's in the stock market, right? Like I think if you're investing in like real estate and it's well priced and you have guaranteed income from the government, maybe being near the top of a market, or the market's gone up for the past 5, 7, 8 years, maybe that's not as great of a concern. But if you're getting, a $25,000 loan and you're going to buy into a basket of tech stocks at the top of the market, right? It's like, okay, well, now the value of your loan just got cut almost in half. This is 23% on the S&P 500. Okay. But if I show you a
Yeah.
tech sector ETF, it's going to be more than 23% loss.
Oh yeah, 40% maybe.
Yeah. Right. Then you got to ask, okay, like, is your client cool with that? Is he going to be able to stick it through? Is he going to be willing to buy in more as the market goes down? And are you going to stick to that original time horizon?
Yeah, and it's a variable rate loan. So if rates go up higher, it's going to be harder to beat that increased interest rate with investments that are going to suffer a little bit, right?
Yeah. But market's being dragged down. Your cost of borrowing is higher. So now it's like, like this cost is higher and the market's doing crap. So psychologically, it hurts more.
Yeah, I think we can look back in time where leveraging investments wouldn't even really be feasible. Like interest rates would have been too high, stock market wouldn't have been outperforming by a lot, would have been too risky.
That's right.
right? And you want to
Right.
have cash. Like look back, um, you know, April of 2020, everything went on sale, but a lot of people didn't have cash to buy and they were scared, right?
That's right. Let's
You
zoom
know,
in.
yeah, we might have a monkeypox outbreak and everything's going to go crash 50% and we're going to want to buy in. Do we have cash for that? Are we going to be able to take a loan quickly? Like what's going to happen? You're on mute.
What I like is just using this long-term moving average when I look at the major indices. And very simple for me is when I see prices
High.
stretched away, I'm cautious. When I see prices come closer, I'm more like interested. Not to say I'm gonna go all in because something like this could happen. You could think this is the time to go all in. It, it gets pulled from you, you lose 50%, you sell because you're angry, and then it goes back to what you thought was gonna happen.
Mhm.
Right. But I just think for the most part, you just go back in time. If you have a long-term mindset and you buy below the moving average, so below the moving average or near the moving average, you just keep doing that. You just keep doing that, right? You probably wouldn't buy there. You were extended. You would have missed out on maybe all this, or you would have bought again, right? Like I think it can help you. It can help you, right?
Mhm.
And if you can constantly be dollar cost averaging when this is happening, like right here, it's not so bad either. But I just wouldn't go in as heavy during these times, during these periods, as I would when it were closer to the moving average. What I find crazy about the COVID-19 pandemic is the market was at all-time highs,
Mhm.
right? So the market was at all-time highs, it collapsed, and there was so much fear here. But there's probably just as much fear in the market right now as there was like here and here in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't, people were buying 1,000 cans of beans at Walmart
Yeah.
with the bunker, you know what I mean, stacking ammunition, hiding out, wearing a gas mask to go into the grocery store and gloves. And
Yeah.
do we have that now? Not so much, but there's a war going on. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Inflation's high, and we see the same sort of thing. People are stockpiling some food, just uncertain. We got supply chain issues. So it's a little bit less obvious, but these things are still happening.
That's right. It's less obvious. Not, I would say it was happening more during the pandemic just because the news.
Yeah.
But it's
And
just,
yeah.
I just find it funny that there's just, I don't know, like the fear is just as much here than it was here. I don't know.
Yeah. And the big money institutions and the whales, are they scared right now? Were they the
I
ones
think they're
selling then?
I think I think they're rotating. Like they're not going all in on everything, but there's certain sectors where I think they are buying right now. Right? I think big money is going to buy into this as it comes down.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Right?
And
Like look at the 2019 high or 2020 high just before the pandemic. It
mhm.
more or less aligns with this 200 period moving average on the weekly.
Wow. That's yeah, that's a little scary.
Big money bought here. They started selling as this went up, right? Like even like this is when Jeff Bezos was selling their stock and Elon Musk and all that stuff. They started selling, big money started selling, and then this happened, and then I think they start buying. Like I think they're gonna buy even as we go lower. Like you're gonna start seeing, yeah, it's gonna be a bear market, and a lot of people are gonna lose money. But I think on those big dips, there will be big money that's buying that doesn't necessarily need to sell next month or the month after. They're buying and holding, like
Yeah.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Like Berkshire Hathaway was buying into this bear market. I believe they are. And even the stock buybacks, They're even doing the stock buybacks right now. Some companies like Nvidia.
Okay, wow. Yeah, but they're probably not, they probably haven't deployed 50% of the capital they plan to deploy, right?
Probably, probably. I think there's
Yeah.
more. I think they have cash on the sidelines for sure.
Yeah. Can we look
Yeah,
at gold real quick before we start the presentation?
yeah, yeah. Hold on. I just want to look at bond, just a 10-year bond real quick or 20-year bond real quick.
Yeah, go
Just
ahead.
because what I think is cool about the bond market, which I'm not seeing in the equity market, is that the bond market is back at levels that we've seen in 2008, 2009.
Mhm.
Okay. In terms of price. Going back to the stock market is at levels not seen since May of 2021. We're talking last year,
Mhm.
right? So if the equity market were the bond market, the equity market would be here. Okay. So bond market is trading at 2008 prices. Equity market is trading at 2021 prices. If I'm looking to buy into a fund, maybe I'll buy into the bond portfolio right now and not the equity portfolio. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Bigger discount potentially in the bond market than in the equity market right now.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to share that because I think a lot of people are like, oh, there's nothing to invest in right now. Like the equity market's topped out. Like where could I put my clients? Maybe put them in the bond fund for now. Tell them, hey, we're just putting you in the market. It's going to be lower risk than than stocks right now. Things are uncertain, but there's still chance for growth in the bond market right now. And that could be, and then listen, if the equity market does correct, like I think it is going to, if it goes lower, then we can start looking at transferring your assets from the bond portfolio and rotate them into the equity portfolio. Right? Like if you're in that conversation with somebody.
Mhm.
Okay, do you just want to look at gold and then let's get into today's presentation?
Yeah.
Gold's tough, man. Okay. Holy gold.
I'm always fascinated by gold.
Well,
And some
this is
people
what's
say,
fascinated me.
what's that?
This double top thing here. Like we have two peaks here, roughly the same height.
Mhm.
I draw a purple line, same height. But then if you look at the momentum on the right side, so this is the left side, this is the right side. Eh, that's a divergence.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And then when you zoom out, it's like who's this? Like for me, those double tops are like a precursor for like bigger moves down.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
when was that last peak? When
This
was
was
this
August of 2020.
on? Wait, no. Oh, no, I mean all the way on the left. All the way on
This
the
is
left.
September 2011.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, 9/11.
Okay. Wait, you said
Not the 9.
you said 2011, right?
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
September 2011. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You said that weird. Okay, cool. 2011.
September
Um,
2011.
a
Yes.
lot of people flock to gold as a safe harbor, but
Yeah.
it looks like when I think of gold, it looks like something like your grandfather pulls out of the gun safe and says, "Hey, if you ever need this, you have it." But looking at it, it's you're pretty much where you were 11 years ago. That doesn't seem, what's the difference between that 2011 peak and the peak that we're seeing recently?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
Like
Like,
what's the difference in price? It's this numbers are very small. Uh,
okay, so if we look at the 2011 peak,
yeah.
you're looking at 1911. So just call it
Okay.
$1,900.
Okay.
We're trading at 1840 right now, so we're actually below that.
Wow. Yeah.
And and is there not more inflation today than there was in 2011?
Oh yeah. 100%.
Okay,
So all the people that were like flocking to gold, 10 years ago, they're not really
Oh,
turning
but
a
not just
profit.
that. All the people flocking into gold, like, okay, anyone bought in 2020, they did okay. So let's just cut them some slack.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
anyone who bought into gold in 2021, so in this range of time, thinking, oh, we're getting all this inflation, things are getting expensive, so gold's gonna go to the moon. They got tricked by someone.
yeah.
They got tricked because it did a double top, which is what I wouldn't have expected, to be honest. And price has come down ever since, and it looks like it wants to go down further. Look at where the RSI is. Like, it's not even anywhere close to the oversold area. Right? Like, it's not there. It's not there. You see what I mean? So I
Mhm.
think this is a double top. I think the momentum is confirming it. And I think we got to get back close to this 200 period moving average on the weekly.
Yeah, I mean, I hear people talk about gold. I tried to buy gold and silver in
Yeah.
2020, April or May. Everything was low. And I've always been told physical gold and silver is what you want, not CFDs, physical gold and silver.
Yeah.
Everything was closed. I was trying to go to the precious metal exchange and they wouldn't do it. And it was very difficult to get. And then I got caught up with other things and forgot. And then I talked to my uncle who had bought a CFD on the computer and
Okay.
then sold it probably where that first peak was of the double top. And I asked him, like, don't you usually buy physical? He's like, yeah, I couldn't, but I wasn't going to hold it. I was going to sell it. I didn't really care. So my thoughts of positive and negative was like blown away with like, okay, I could have bought what I wanted to as a CFD instead of physical. Wouldn't really have been what I wanted to, but then I
But
could
you
have
would have had your
sold it and ended up
exposure.
buying more gold. I would have had that exposure that I wanted.
Yeah. You would have
Um,
turned, you would be able to turn that profit into cash to buy more of the real thing if you wanted to.
100%. So I learned a lesson there. And I hope I'm relaying that properly. I mean, I think if you're gonna buy gold, buy the real thing. If you're gonna buy silver, buy the real thing. And it's a lot more liquid to buy a CFD. If you're seeing an opportunity like this and it's hard to get the physical thing, there's nothing wrong with that. There's pros and cons to both. But
Yeah.
if you're looking for something that is going to be that safe harbor,
Yeah.
the physical thing is the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. Well
All
said.
right.
I agree. I think it's better than like if you're gonna save cash, people just save money for like, oh, I want to have
Yeah.
this money. Like,
Cash under the mattress.
yeah, it's like put gold under your mattress instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put gold and silver underneath your mattress, and that will hold up better, right? And
Yeah.
definitely you want to have cash because cash is liquid and you can do stuff with it. But
Yeah. And don't buy a pound of gold because, you know, doomsday thinking. I think grams would be better. It does cost more to get gold in
or
grams or
ounce, you buy them by the
ounces.
ounce, no?
Ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah, ounces are a little bit bigger. You're not going to buy a loaf of bread with an ounce of gold,
No.
but you might buy a cow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'll buy a cow with an ounce of gold.
But the silver, the ounces of silver, what does that relate to right now in US dollars? I can't even think. $25 was probably a year ago. I think it's higher now. Real quick, maybe pull up
Yeah.
silver and then we'll switch over. We got to get to the presentation because
Yeah, I don't know
silver
how
jumps
much
around a bit
higher.
more.
Well, we're at 21 US, which is about
Yeah.
25, 26 Canadian.
Okay. Okay. And when was that peak? When was that peak all the way
Ooh,
on the
this
left
actually looks
here?
bullish for silver.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Why do you say that? You see,
Yeah, because okay, I'm gonna show you something.
all
Do
right.
you see how price made a lower low compared to this point here? This is like
Yep.
a lower low. See that?
It's getting close to that moving average. Is that 200
Yeah. It's a
periods?
long-term
Yeah.
moving average, which is
Okay.
good. That's a good thing. Okay. So you see how it made a lower low compared to this point?
Yes.
If I zoom out, I can see that on my momentum indicator. It made a higher low than this momentum indicator here. You see that?
So less volume selling.
Yeah. So the fact that we came down, we took out this point here with a low, but we quickly came back up and then held here as support. So this level now is this new support. Tells me that this move down lower was just to wipe out weak hands that were all piling in long, right? All the people that were going in long through here. This move down was to shake them all out because they were highly leveraged, I'm pretty sure. Just to shake them out, just to bring it back up. And the fact that we're back there means this is true demand. If we base here longer, this could be the beginning for the move higher.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And
so
the
that's what I see
history,
there.
the history is silver. I mean, if you're going to sell it as an inflation hedge, seeing it be so high in the past, what was
Yeah.
that peak, that all-time high? What year was that? Like
48, 49, $48 an ounce.
oh wow. Well, what year was that? What year was that? I can't see.
2011.
So same with gold. Same with gold. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you got to be careful. Like anything where you're waiting over a decade to break even, I don't know. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
for me, I bought silver in ounces, ounce bars. I went in person and I paid cash. I wanted no record of it. So I don't want anyone confiscating my silver. I don't want any
Yeah.
bank to know that I have it, any numbers, correspondent, registry. I bought cash, I bought silver. Would that have any effect on this? No one knows that I bought it. I didn't buy it on a computer. If I sell it to someone cash, it's not going to change what's on here, right?
Yeah. This is more dictated by the futures markets.
Yeah. And this is, what do they call this? Spot price? I would have paid
Yeah.
melt
This
price.
is spot. This is spot price. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
So
the
I would have
spot
paid
price of
more.
silver.
And in certain times, the silver bar that I have in hand would be more than what's on here.
Correct.
Yeah. So I just want people to understand that. Same with Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, I love the idea of Bitcoin. And just like anything else, if no one likes it and I love it and no one buys it, it's not going to do well, even
Yeah. It
if it
doesn't
is a
matter.
good idea. And I think
Yeah.
the new generation is like silver and gold. What is this? The 1800s? No, I'm going to buy Bitcoin instead. That's digital gold.
I think people just need to understand what money is, or at least try to understand what money is, to appreciate things like silver, gold, arts, maybe Bitcoin, right? Like classic. I think right? Every
Yeah.
time the government, it's much easier to print $1,000 bill than it is to dig up an ounce of gold. Like what it requires is completely different. And that's what gives gold. Well, that's one of the reasons why gold is valuable, right? Because it's scarce. The thing that you're mining itself is valuable, meaning you could use it. It's almost indestructible, right? Like that's what gives these things value, right? So if you're going to save something, if you want to hoard wealth or store wealth, like you want to store it in things that, take time and cost money to produce, right? Like that's why people want to buy nice homes, or they want to buy, I don't know, whatever, right? Like people buy a bunch of stuff, like baseball cards, dude. People buy like collectibles because they think, hey, this money that I have now, this printed paper that I have now, would be better spent if I turned it into a collectible so that I could enjoy it now and it would be worth something in the future, or I could pass it down to, like, get what I'm saying? Like it's, so when people think, oh, silver, gold, like, what are you, like 100? No, it's just, you believe that silver and gold is valuable because of its properties and what it takes to produce. You have money that you want to turn into something that will maintain your purchasing power, right? So you buy the thing and you turn it into gold and you hold on to it, right?
That's right. Demetrios just said, that's why I have my comic book collection. So I think this is a good transition into NFTs. Let's start the presentation. And I'll just say, cars. Maybe we should talk about cars one time. Cars depreciate. Everyone knows that. But with certain cars, we see from purchase price, there's a big depreciation down. It sort of levels out and then will actually appreciate later down the line.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it'll be worth more than what it was bought for originally, and there'll be some scarcity there.
Yeah.
Comic books, hockey cards, we see this with stuff that we normally think is like a bad investment, and it's all based on demand. It's very subjective. So let's transition into NFTs. The JPEGs. There's a lot of jokes going on right now about
I stopped
NFTs.
sharing, Matthew. I'm gonna have you share.
You want me to share? Okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah. You share.
All right.
And yeah, I'm excited for this one.
That's right. Here, I got this bar with your faces on it. All right. So NFTs, if you're curious and you don't know, that stands for non-fungible tokens. At the bottom, I have it put in there, revolutionary or stupid. You hear a lot of opinions. You hear people go on Logan Paul podcast. How'd you make all your money? Crypto and NFTs. And a lot of people have questions about this right now. It has some connection to the cryptocurrency world. What are NFTs? How do they work? And who are the notable NFT players today? And we have it here up on the right. Who is this? Steve Aoki. Serge, I think you put this in. I think
Yeah.
I know who Steve Aoki is. Who is he? Is he an actor or somebody? Who is this
He's a DJ with beautiful long hair from the Oriental regions. So he's like an Asian DJ, super popular. Like, and he's one of the celebrities that jumped on this NFT thing with this ape shit, these bored apes, right? It's art, it's an NFT. Yeah, that's all that is. So just Steve Aoki flexing his new NFT through his profile pic. That's all.
Flexing. I never thought a cartoon picture of a monkey wearing a blindfold would be a flex. What is the market cost of this monkey?
I don't know. I think at their peak, dude, some of these NFTs were selling for like 25 Ethereum, like 15 Ethereum, like, so we're talking tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow. And I mean, like, I think a lot of people think Bitcoin is the number one crypto, but with the metaverse, with cryptocurrencies, people are or with NFTs, people are buying into Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and some are not even touching Bitcoin, which is kind of odd, but dominance is gone up. So what does fungible mean exactly? Returnable, we got a definition here. It's an adjective. Returnable or negotiable in any kind, in kind or by substitution, as a quantity of grain for an equal amount of the same kind of grain, interchangeable, able to be substituted for something of equal value or utility, interchangeable, exchangeable, replaceable. So these are not that. Whatever fungible means, these are not fungible, and these are tokens. We explained the fungible part. I don't think we dove into the token part. I don't know, Serge, do you have anything to say about that? A token. What is this token?
Matt,
Yeah.
just give me 1 second. I just got a call from my mechanic. He just needs to update me on the damage here. So can you just give me a sec?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think of it as a token, something to hold on to, a piece of something. This is digital property, usually art. So non-interchangeable, it's individually unique. If you think of the Mona Lisa, that is a piece of art. It is physical art, and it has its location right now with its owner. If it was ever up for sale, there'd be a bidding war. We'd find out kind of what it was, going to be sold for. The time that it's going to sell would depend on a lot of things. And if you have someone that knows art to appraise it, you're going to get different answers from different appraisers. So it is open to interpretation. It's all about demand. If we're in the middle of World War III and we're seeking out a bomb shelter, we're trying to buy bread, we're probably not going to spend $1 million on a picture of a monkey, but when times are good, this is what happens. People spend $1 million on a picture of a monkey. That is what happens in the open. And one of the best things about an NFT is that you can't lie about ownership. It's on the blockchain. Either you own it or you don't. And when you go to sell it, there's no fraudulent ownership. There's no, fake version of the Mona Lisa in this world. And it seems to be a hot market right now. Anything to say about that, Sergio?
Yeah, I just think it's just digitizing like this digital property type thing, right? Like, how do you give property rights online? Right? Where before it's like I can download a picture, a really cool picture, and I can send it to you. And I could have told you that it was mine. And you would just be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like you sent it to me, it's yours. What NFTs are doing, what the blockchain is doing is saying, no, like this is how the ownership, you can prove who owns it, how many items there are of this, like all that information's there. Right?
Yeah. And there are copyright laws. If you make money using someone else's work, you could get in trouble.
100%.
And with copyright, I mean, that costs money. Not everyone's going to be able to do that. But this opens up the sale of that art globally, right?
Yeah.
So if someone's going to go make art and they're going to go to an art show in downtown Toronto, how many people are going to be there? You can cast a wider net online and do an auction globally. Maybe Hunter Biden should have sold his art pieces as an NFT. Maybe he would have made more money that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
So how do they work? How do NFTs work, Sergio?
I don't know. I did some research, right? And NFTs are created, right? So it's like there's different platforms. You can create your own NFTs. And then, what these celebrities do is they'll get artists, they'll get like a famous artist to mint these, call it these Bored Apes. They'll make like 50 or 100 of them. And there'll be a nice marketing campaign around that. And then they'll be put on like exchanges like OpenSea, which is like a secondary exchange, where then that NFT can be bought and sold by the public, right? So the NFT can trade amongst many hands, right? So one guy can start with one Bored Ape. It could be traded amongst 10 people. And if it weren't for NFTs, a lot of that uniqueness would be deteriorated after those transactions, right? So that's the basics of how they work. I don't really know too much more, but that's mainly it. They're created by people and they're sold on secondary exchanges.
Yep. And you can create an NFT, sell it, and have it in the smart contract that every time it is resold, you will get a royalty as a percentage. You have some freedom to what you can do with this.
It's programmable.
And, yeah, that's right. Open book. So here we go. We got crazy NFT story. Mike Winkleman, also known as Beeple, sold perhaps the most famous NFT of 2021 for $69.3 million. Someone paid $69.3 million for this.
In Ethereum.
In Ethereum, of course. And do we know who that person is that bought it, or is it an anonymous person?
I think we could find out who it is.
Okay. I don't think it's super important, but maybe they'll want to be known. Maybe it'll be a secret. But yeah, this digital piece of art, you could pull this up on your phone as a JPEG, but you don't own it. This person would actually own the rights to that picture. And what do we have? Ooh, I went too far. What do we have in this NFT world is we have security. Using the blockchain, buying an NFT allows you to own that piece of digital property, and no one can create a fake copy or take credit of ownership from you. Value totally subjective, as we said. It's not inherently valuable. You could argue that a brick of gold or silver bullion is inherently valuable. There is some subjectivity to that as well, but it does have utility. It can be used in different industries for different things. NFTs, I don't know. Will we see some more utility in this world? Probably. I think we'll have something more useful than a picture of a monkey. But Serge, how artistic are you? Do you think we should start making our own NFTs, release them as an experiment, see what we can get for them? Microsoft Paint.
I mean, it's a fun experiment. Don't get me wrong, man. Like we can pull something like just to, I think, go through the process of releasing your NFTs, minting NFTs, releasing. I think that's good to learn, but like I don't know, I'm not really like excited about it.
All
I
right,
don't really believe too much in my artistic prowess, or nor do I think that like I don't know, like I'm that brandable where I could like make NFTs about myself and
Yeah,
have
I
people
mean,
pay millions of dollars. I don't think I'm there.
if Hunter Biden can do it, I think we could do it too. You know what I mean? I think we have some abilities, but totally subjective based on what people are willing to pay. And borderless is the other thing as well. Totally borderless. I relate to it as hockey cards. I don't know if you guys know somebody. I know someone who collects hockey cards. Dimitrios collects comic books, and everyone has that story where they know somebody or they had sold a comic book or a hockey card from 20 years ago, and they sold it for a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
You're like, who's gonna? They just want to read the comic book? No, they don't read it. They leave it in the plastic. They didn't open it. What is that? I don't understand. Like it means nothing to me, but it means something to someone out there. Maybe you have to ship that comic book, through UPS all the way over the border, somewhere halfway across the world. This fixes that problem with a hockey card. If you want to sell it to somebody, it has to be authenticated.
Mm-hmm.
And you might even go through a third party in the middle to make sure no one's getting scammed, almost like escrow for property. That costs money, that takes time. This gets rid of all of that. So pretty fascinating. This is another piece of art from people. I think it's sold for double digits in the millions. I can pull up the exact amount. But people think he's a genius, and just like Van Gogh and all the great artists from back in the day kind of had the ways that they did stuff, and their art is held up on a pedestal. Maybe one day we'll look back and say, hey, you remember that great work of art, the smiley face from people? Maybe that's this generation. Yeah, that's our presentation about NFTs. We're going to see what else happens in the space. We got a couple minutes. I have a YouTube video from the Joe Rogan Experience, which might explain it very well. I'll pull it up. I should have had it ready. Unless you have something to say, Serge, I'll play this for the next couple minutes.
No, I just want everyone to recall our conversations from last Wealth Wednesdays when we were talking about the S&P bonds, Tesla, make sure people understood what I think, not understood, but just kind of recall what we spoke about. And remember that the Fed is going to start allowing its balance sheet to decline in size. Okay. Historically, that's bad for the stock market. So, just keep that in mind, guys. We've seen the market go up a little bit since we spoke last Wealth Wednesdays. We saw Tesla come down since we spoke last Wealth Wednesdays. But we've also seen rebounds a little bit in the market since then as well. So yeah, just remember bonds over equities right now. Okay, bonds over equities. That's it. That's all I have to say, man. I just want to make sure that we reiterated that which we had spoken on last time.
Nice. Got that.
I'm ready. I think we're ready for you.
Yeah, it's taking me a minute to find it. Give me 1 second here. A little bit slow. might need another minute here.
Yeah. What's this regarding again? What is this?
NFTs.
Oh, okay. Okay. So a segment, like a little segment from a podcast. Yeah, we'll see. NFTs are cool, right? I'm not super interested in them myself. Yeah. Like, I don't know. But I get why we need scarcity for a digital world.
All
I
right.
understand that.
This
Makes sense to
might
me.
be this might be it right here. Let me share.
Should we
my
pause the
computer
recording?
and my sound.
No, let's leave it. Let's leave it.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
okay. Yeah, let's leave it.
Is
it's okay.
the value the most expensive card in the world today?
Can
Just
you
throw
hear that okay?
I can hear. That's good.
Yeah. Yes. So what do you think the value is for the most expensive hockey card today?
Okay.
a number out.
Does Babe Ruth have a card?
Babe Ruth's got a card, but it's not the most expensive.
Really?
No.
Jackie Robinson?
He's got a card, but it's probably not in the top 1,000 of the most expensive.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out of guesses.
Mickey Mantle has a card.
Okay, Mickey Mantle.
Okay.
How much is that?
His
Is that number
PSA
one?
10 1952 Topps rookie card. There's only 3 of them.
Let me guess.
Please.
20 million bucks.
20 million bucks.
Really?
That's actually a number.
Really?
So you do follow cards.
No, I just took a
See,
guess.
that's like you're on the dot. It's 20 million bucks.
I'm good at that.
The guy who bought it in 1998, the owner of the Diamondbacks, paid 104 for it in 98.
Whoa.
From 104 to 20K today.
That's
okay?
a big jump.
A Luka credit card, a Luka rookie card, 2 days after his birthday, at 22 years old, sold for 5.2 million.
That's a basketball player, Joe.
Yeah, Luka Doncic. He's
know
a
you didn't
great
know who that
basketball
was.
player.
No, I was going to ask. Thank
I
you.
know.
You don't follow basketball.
I don't follow sports.
I got you. Yeah. So the
I'm a sports commentator who doesn't follow sports.
dude, you got a baseball. You got a card as well. You got a card. You got a card with the.
I know there's a UFC
Yeah,
card.
there is.
I think it's worth some money.
Yeah, of
worth a
course
couple
it is.
grand.
Yeah, you got a card. The card industry today is booming. There's a few guys that are doing it the right way. The
card business.
private equity business got into it. They got into it.
Yeah?
So Jordan's rookie cards were selling for like $25,000 a few years ago, and once there's only 330 of those.
All right. This isn't about NFT. It must have been somewhere else in the conversation.
Exploding card market. Right there. Patrick Bet David explaining NFTs to Joe Rogan.
Okay. Yeah. This is a short
The NFT
video.
of you and Elon
Okay,
Musk
here.
is probably worth $10 million.
What does that mean, though?
That's what it's probably worth. I'm not
but
even
this
kidding
is the
with
thing.
you.
But what does it mean?
So somebody owns that NFT. It's like somebody owns that card.
But how can they own it? What does
It's-
it mean? Anybody can have it. It's online.
So you know the guy that bought Beeple? Do you know Beeple?
Yeah.
So somebody bought his NFT.
I go back and forth with that guy all the time on Instagram. He's great.
He's a very cool guy. His
Super
work is
prolific.
sick.
Every day he puts out a new piece of art.
5,000 days is what he did. He calls
Amazing.
it 5,000 days or something like that. You know what he sold that for? He sold it for like $69 million.
Yeah, good for
The
him.
guy that bought him is a guy named Meta Coben. He lives in Singapore today. I had him on. And I said, so tell me, what the hell is going on? He's a Bitcoin billionaire, crypto billionaire, one of those guys. By the way, he's like in his late 20s, early 30s. Okay, this guy. So I said, you paid $69 million for what? He says, what do you mean? I said, that's exactly what I mean. What do you mean $69 million? He says, do you know what's coming next is virtual real estate? I said, virtual real estate means what? Like you have virtual real estate. People are trying to buy the best virtual real estate. And we are making a virtual museum where you're going to have to buy tickets to attend the museum. And the last thing you see at the museum is this Beeple NFT for $69 million. I believe this is $1 billion NFT.
That's what I wanted to show. So you
Yeah.
can see two different people. One of them is saying, what are you talking about? This sounds super silly. I don't understand. The other one's saying, this is the market right now. Virtual real estate. I mean, it sounds silly to me, but how many people didn't want to be on Facebook 10 years ago and now they have an account? So
Right.
what's going to happen in the future? I don't know. We can't really tell. Anyway, that's a wrap up for today. Hope you enjoyed the presentation and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Have a good one, everybody. Cheers, cheers.
Thanks, guys. Take care.